Janny Meatballs here. I'm back with some more Sunday memories, but today it's an extra special edition, Easter Sunday memories. See, when I was a kid, Easter was a very big holiday, and I have a lot of traditions, mostly revolving around food, that I'd like to share today. I still incorporate many of these things into my life now. So let's talk a little bit about an Italian-American Easter. First story that I want to share is one that I've shared before in some of my blogs. My mother's told this story many times, and it's kind of funny. Basically, my mother, she comes from a very large Italian family, 5 girls and 1 boy, all right? And one day, my grandfather, he came home with a lamb, all right? And this was springtime, it was Easter season, so he brought home this lamb and had it out in the backyard there by his shed. And the kids really started to take a liking to the lamb. They even named him Lammy. So they grew very attached to Lammy, like as if he was, you know, the family pet. Every day after school they would come home, they would play with Lammy, and you know, one day they come home from school, you know, my mother and her sisters, and Lammy's not there. So they get a little upset. They ask my grandmother, you know, she kind of downplays it. Oh, you know, she didn't want to answer, tell the truth at that moment exactly where Lammy had gone. But, you know, Easter Sunday rolled around, and there was Lammy on the dinner table, and the kids were horrified. For years after that, you know, my mother told me she could not even look at a lamb. But, you know, that's as old school as you can get it. You know, I mean, my grandfather basically raising his own dinner, Easter lamb, which is a big tradition in Italian-American and other nationalities for the holiday. So, hey, you can't get fresher than that, huh? So when we were growing up, we had, we did have lamb. You know, years later, my mother was able to, you know, cook lamb and enjoy it, despite that horrifying childhood memory. We always had either, you know, a leg of lamb or a rack of lamb, never really the whole lamb. And the reason for that was we were very close friends with a Greek family. And the Greeks and the Italians, they celebrate Easter in a very similar way. But the Greek Easter is a week apart from the Italian or the Catholic Easter. And so we would have our Easter, and then we would go to our Greek friends who would have lamb as well. But they would do the whole lamb. You know, I'm talking the entire lamb roasted on a spit. And this was a lot of fun, because the thing would be spinning all day long, the skin would get nice and crispy, and all you'd have, you know, was a little bit of lemon, maybe some olive oil, oregano, and it was just delicious. You peel that skin off, that was the best part. And, you know, basically you eat the whole thing, you know, head to toe. Back to my grandfather, I mean, he used to eat everything. He used to eat the head, which in Italian is called the capozel, which has, you know, the brains and the teeth and everything in it. I haven't made that yet. My friend Tony did, and here's a picture of that. I haven't made the capozel myself. I don't know if that's for me, but I make the leg of lamb. And, you know, there's a lot of other traditional foods that we enjoyed. Maybe someone at home could help me out with this. The reason that we eat lamb on Easter, I always learned, was sort of as an homage to the lambs that took care of baby Jesus in the manger. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what my research has pointed to. Which I guess is kind of strange. I mean, why would you have a sacrificial lamb for an animal that actually protected Jesus? Maybe because Jesus sacrificed himself, that's the connection there. I don't really know, but we do eat lamb, and lots of other foods as well. See, when I was a kid, during Lent, you had to give something up. I went to a very strict Roman Catholic grammar school, and they always told us you had to give something up for the whole season, which I always did. Then years later, they kind of loosened that up. They said, as long as you do something nice for somebody else, you're extra kind to your neighbors and strangers especially, then you don't have to give something up. And I was in 8th grade. Every Sunday I would take out the garbage for a neighbor, an old lady that couldn't carry the cans out herself. And the other thing, you can never eat meat on Fridays. That was a big thing. And even the Pope loosened that one up a little bit. You were supposed to eat only fish on Fridays, but he kind of lifted that. But that's one that I actually still participate in, that particular ritual of abstinence. Because to me, giving up meat is a big thing. I'm Johnny Meatballs, of course, and I love my meat. So every Friday during Lent, every year, I don't eat meat. I eat fish or something else, eggplant, whatever, pizza. Because that is a sacrifice for me. So on Easter Sunday, what you do is you indulge. You indulge in the lamb and the meats and lots of other different things. My mother, what she made every Easter Sunday, which I always loved, was this frittata. This was eggs and mozzarella and sausage, all kinds of different nice things that she would put in there. I really looked forward to that. That was our ritual. We'd wake up in the morning and we'd go hunting for Easter eggs, as all American kids do. And then we'd have the frittata and we'd go to church. It was very nice. Then we'd come home, we'd have our big Sunday dinner. And we'd go visiting after that to my cousins and relatives. And now it's not really like that much anymore, because everybody has their own lives, they're doing their own thing, but I still, as I always do on Sunday, like to carry on Sunday traditions, especially with Easter. Another food that we had a lot, my grandmother, she made, it was called a gajadel, and I guess that could be slang for cassiatello. It's basically what it is. It's a meat pie. It's our take on the meat pie in my family, anyway. And this particular one, the gajadel, it looks like an empanada almost, because it's in a pocket. It's like a half-moon pocket filled with ham and cheese and different things. But it's not fried and crispy. It's baked. It's light and it's airy and it's really delicious. And she would make dozens of these things. I would eat them. I would take them to school for snack time, for lunch. I would have them after school. And this was a delicious thing. Like I said, it was our family's take on the meat pie. Every Italian-American family makes them differently. You have your pizza gaina, pizza rustica, whatever you want to call it. And it's just another way to indulge on the meat, something that you gave up or cut back on during Lent, during the Lenten season. Besides the Cadbury's cream eggs and the Peeps and all that stuff, what the Italians do, they have a giant chocolate egg that's wrapped up in fancy wax paper, and inside there's a little prize, just like Cracker Jacks. And the Italians, they pass these around, just like the panettone, during Christmas time. And that's always fun to, smash that thing, get the little prize, and to eat the chocolate. And back to the lamb again. The lamb actually comes in several forms. It comes in an actual cake. It's a round cake that looks like a lamb, has some sugar on top. It's sort of the Easter panettone. It's a dense, light, spongy type of cake. And there's all different kinds of those. And there's all different kinds of side dishes that you have. Some people, they do artichokes. Some people do roasted potatoes. You always got to have a pasta in there somehow. And, we go all out on Easter Sunday. We have the antipasto, of course. You always got to have the antipasto. All of the different food traditions that we Italian Americans celebrate is really rich and just so much a defining factor of the culture. And, the food is always a backdrop for all of the families getting together to eat and drink and be merry. I mean, I'm serious. Easter was like equally as big as Christmas for us. And, through all that, you never want to lose sight of what the holiday represents, which is, of course, Jesus rising and rebirth and springtime and new starts and good feelings and things of that nature. So I want to say Happy Easter, Buona Pasqua, and have a great spring, everybody. Looking forward to big things this year, and God bless.